And welcome back to another episode of the Office Dynasty League podcast. I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Maccabee White. Maccabee, say hi to the people.
Hello, people.
And we have a very special...
Who are you? You've not introduced yourself.
I did. I'm the Office Dynasty League podcast.
Are you?
Yes.
I think you're half of it.
Half at most. We are here with...
You still did not introduce yourself.
I'm not... Okay. I'm John Yaney.
Mac, this is cute. Can we go? I know the John ribbing is fun, but I'm eagerly awaiting my debut.
Well, John didn't introduce himself.
Okay, well, we know it's John. It's John Yaney, everybody.
That leads us into who we are.
What if we have listeners not listening from our league? That is possible.
The most incredible person in the world who jumped in at episode 16.
Yes.
More views than
This
10.
is weirdly showing up in some Korean guy's algorithm.
We're here with our newest owner for the Office Dynasty League, Jacob Hendricks. Jacob, say hi to the people.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
We are so excited to have Jacob. Mac and I love Jacob. We hang out with him just about every Wednesday at trivia. Great guy, great dude. You guys are going to love being in a league with this guy because not only is he a great person, but he is a phenomenal, seasoned fantasy football player.
All right, chill out.
Well, okay. Jacob, give the people your resume because I don't know if everyone knows how familiar you are with the game.
Yeah, thank you for giving me this opportunity. So I am the league manager for my work league, and I have won every single year it has been in existence. So that's a redraft league, but 3 going on 4 championships. That's not nothing. I'm also in another dynasty league that leaves much to be desired. So I am just thrilled to be in a league with guys that obviously know what they're doing, some of them, and obviously care about a league. So good opportunity.
Yeah. Again, we are very excited to have you. Mac and you have traveled the world together, if I heard correctly. So long-standing history here.
Yeah, we've been to Norway and Finland and Sweden and Denmark, and that's it.
Oh, the very white parts of the world.
Oh, the Netherlands, if you count the airport.
We're getting even whiter. So you said you've won 3 out of the last 4, or you've won 3 in a row for your work league?
This is a 3-peat. So this is my 4th year following a 3-peat.
Have you thought about sending anything to Michael Jordan and just letting him know that you did what he never could?
So Michael Jordan actually is my picture on ESPN fantasy. So
Is it the crying one?
No, it's the him I guess he's like holding the trophy, holding up a 3.
Okay, that's cooler than the MJ crying face a little bit.
Yes. Obviously a little bit arrogant. I understand that. I mean, when
you're 3 in a row, you earned that.
Well,
I agree.
To be honest, Jacob, when everyone hears this, they're probably going to be like, okay, you probably put a bunch of freaking idiots in your league and you're just swindling them, and no one's going to really, I don't think anyone's going to be that impressed. So you don't.
No, that's fair. There are some idiots in the leagues. There's a couple guys that care. But coming into work on a Monday after a pretty big victory, or today going into work, I needed George Kittle to outscore Rico Dowdle. So
nope, tough. Mission accomplished.
Brock Purdy played like cheeks, but he was feeding my boy Kittle, so I feel good.
There we go. So coming from a winning culture of 3-peat, I got to imagine looking at the Farms roster, you're just eager to make a couple of changes.
Yeah. I had reached out to Mac my second day being a part of the league. It's I'm just kind of lost. I just keep looking at mediocrity, bad players, bad picks, and I didn't even really know which direction to go into. So, I mean, I guess I kind of understand. I know Adrian has struggled figuring out what even to do. I do sympathize with him a little bit on just the situation that the team is in. Really, what do you even do with it?
Sure. But you've made some moves, so it seems like you have established somewhat of a direction here. And you've made maybe one of the league's biggest trades this season with my co-host, Mac White, for Trey McBride. Can you guys walk me through how that went?
Yeah, so there's another pretty massive trade that I think happened this season that I wish I could go back and address. We'll probably talk about that today. That was my favorite pod episode to listen to, the Bijan trade. But for me, like coming into the league, this close to the trade deadline, the trade market was pretty dry, at least in my opinion. The people that had picks didn't want to move them, and most of the biz buzz for Trey McBride involved players, and players are great when you want to win. I don't think the farm's primary objective over the next year or two is accumulating wins during the season. So the trade market was a little bit dry, and I just went to the spreadsheet that is updated, looking at 2026, 2027. I'm like, who has the most picks that I could probably get at this point to even start a discussion? And I just kept noticing this burgundy color, and without really paying attention to who that burgundy color belonged to, it's like, oh darn, it is Mac. That going into the trade talks for Trey McBride, I wanted to avoid even talking to Mac about it. First of all, because I just got into the league, and the accusation that Dallas made of like you invite a guy to the league and then somehow end up with Trey McBride one day later. Well, it was 2 days later. But I didn't want that to like be a legitimate concern. And then also like his team is a juggernaut. His team is actually like the measuring stick that when I talked to Adrian, I measured the farm against. So I went position by position, just in Fantasy Pros. And I'm like, who are the top 15 players at each position? Right now, Mac has 15, or he has 8. So 8 players in his roster are in the top 15 of their position. As a frame of reference, at the time, the farm had 2. And so obviously juggernaut of a team. So trading with him wasn't necessarily something I wanted to do right off the bat, but we need picks, and he just had the most picks. And so that's kind of where the discussion started.
Makes a lot of sense. Go ahead.
I did not. So I know Jacob was saying he had some reservations about trading with me. I did not have any reservations. I just saw big Trey McBride sitting there, and I'm like, okay, let's go get him. Let's see what it takes.
Yeah.
And my first offer was Pooh.
Yes.
Jacob came back with a better offer.
I did hear that Mac's first offer was Pooh.
It was a starting point, it was the starting point. This is fair.
So that makes sense. Jacob, you feel free to decline this if you don't want to answer this, but can you share with us the second best offer you got for Trey McBride? Because I'm sure that Mac's not the only person who reached out.
Yeah, so there was a lot of back and forth between one of your frequent
use names
one of the frequent providers of the show, little Tyler Bradshaw. He and I had quite the back and forth about players. And again, I'm not as familiar with the league as everybody else, but I felt like in discussion, the reason that we weren't able to connect is I value Trey McBride just a little bit more than he did, and he valued his own players just a little bit more than I did. And again, I understand that trading with the farm is a little bit different because like all of the trade that's taken place in the league, a lot of it at least, are like teams that are actively competitive and want to do really well, are trading pieces to immediately improve their team. And so when I get offers that immediately are supposed to improve my team, really not as enticing to me as it would be for another team. And so the trade that the second best was an offer of Malik Neighbors, Harold Fandon Jr., and Jaden Daniels, who Tyler expounded on how wonderful they are at football, preaching to the choir. I agree that they are good at football. If they're so good at football, why do you want them to be on my team? But that was the offer in exchange for not only Trey McBride, but Trey McBride, Quinshon Judkins, and I believe a second rounder, maybe a third rounder.
Wow.
And so that initial offer was a little bit rich for my blood. I was not eager to move. Like Trey McBride's a great piece, but I was really open to move him. Quinshon Judkins, I'm a little bit less open to move. In my opinion, and again, this is my opinion, so it could be incorrect. I view him as long-term, like top 6 through 9 dynasty running back. I don't think Tyler agrees with that price tag or agrees with that evaluation. That's fine. And so that was the second best offer. And I mean, I love Malik Neighbors. I am concerned about the knee injury. So that also affected where I'm coming from. I am concerned about long-term viability for Jaden Daniels. I think we're seeing a lot of injuries this year. We didn't his rookie year. And just like there's that image of him like throwing a ball in the LSU jersey and his arm looks like a pipe cleaner. I am just really concerned about his body. Now, this is going to bite me in the butt. I understand that he's going to absolutely rule fantasy football for years, and I'm going to look like a doofus. But there's a little bit, I think, of me undervaluing what he was offering and him kind of undervaluing my players as well.
Sure. That's the breakdown of every good trade at a certain point is we don't agree on value.
Yeah. Jacob, do you think that if we were not able to come to an agreement on Trey McBride would still be on the farm this current
Yeah,
time?
I do.
Okay. So we're saying it was max offer or hold him, not necessarily max offer or Tyler would have then gotten Trey McBride.
Yeah, I just feel like in talking with him, we were just not connecting. Sure. I was interested in the pieces he had. He was interested in the pieces I had. I just think that what we would have to give up in value we were never going to connect. There were other offers. I understand that. And again, I understand the time that I'm coming into the league. People have already traded picks. A lot of stuff has happened. But for me, I was a little bit underwhelmed with a lot of the offers that came in. So yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so really what it sounds like, Jacob, is when you joined the league, you decided that the only person you were possibly interested in doing business with regarding Trey McBride was myself, simply because of how far we go back.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, that was exactly it.
Okay. Yep. Okay, good.
Glad to hear it's all fair and balanced.
Yeah. Just make sure people understand how it
I
works.
just don't think I could sleep at night unless Shut Up About the Sun won the chip of this league. So
That's why we got you.
Speaking of 3 wins, 3 championship wins.
Only 2.
If you have a third one.
Oh yeah. We should get rings. I wish we had rings.
No. So someone who keeps winning.
You'd be a little ringless man.
Jacob, you obviously moving beyond the Trey McBride of it all. You still have a couple of players that I think people would be interested in, but they all seem to be kind of on the younger end. Are we going to be seeing any more trades between now and the trade deadline tomorrow for the farm?
so what players do you think that would be?
Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah, so I feel a little bit differently about Quinshon Judkins than I do Trey McBride. Trey McBride, I think, is a great piece. I would not feel like it was a failure of trade deadline if I ended up with him still on the team.
Sure.
But I felt strongly about moving him. I don't feel that strongly about Quinshon Judkins.
Okay.
I like him as a piece. I feel like he fits the timeline of the team. And for a lot of the offers that we got for Trey McBride, I think he's more valuable to the farm right now than he is to anybody else. And so, I mean, again, send offers. Everyone is available, but everyone's available at a price. Absolutely. And I feel like right now the price people are willing to pay, I'd probably just rather have Quinshon still on the team. Now, if anybody's really feeling hot about Matthew Golden.
I don't know if anyone's feeling hotter about Matthew Golden than Adrian. So you're going to have to consult your co-owner on that one.
Is Mr. Campbell available?
So again, it's one of those things where I think Cam Moore is probably just going to be a little bit more valuable to me than he is to other teams. Obviously, we went into this week starting our boy 9 at the quarterback position, and so having a bench full of upside quarterbacks with our boy JJ at the start, it doesn't feel bad. So again, everyone's available for a price, but that price is I just don't think what people are willing to pay right now.
Fair enough. Now, an important part of being an Office Dynasty League owner is standing up to the guys in your locker room when the national media is against them. Recently, there have been some pretty serious accusations against one Vikings quarterback that he should change his nickname from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
What do you say about that?
I think that the skill set that JJ McCarthy possesses is tremendously valuable
Hmm.
in the insurance industry. And I think that he will have a wonderful career working for State Farm, Progressive. And I'm just really excited about what the future holds for him.
Hmm.
Do you think he could add financial services, financial planning to his toolbox?
Oh, I think, yeah, absolutely. That would round him out as a prospect. I think that's a great option, Mac.
Yeah, we heard Geico's interested. Okay, incredible answer. We appreciate that from you. Jacob, you made a very bold proclamation coming out that the Farms plan rests in the 2027 draft. What makes you take a step beyond 2026 to look to 2027?
So, again, going back to that comparison between farm and kind of a juggernaut in the league, shut up about the Sun.
Hmm.
We had two players now we have one player in the top 15 positionally. So to be competitive in this league, you need talent.
Yes.
I really feel like this is not a 1 year fix. This is a rebuild, not a retool. And so to me, it's really myopic to go into 2026 and say we're fixing everything on the team in one draft, especially a draft. And again, I'm not cold on the 2026 draft. I think there's good pieces in there. I just feel like I don't see us being competitive next year. I feel like this is a multi-year process. And so if there are teams that right now are like, man, we are on the cusp of being competitive, we are competitive, if we could just reload a couple positions, I would take, you being able to kind of know where those picks are going to be at um, in this year and kind of like be able to more operate in the short term. We just don't have the luxury to operate in the short term right now. The farm has to operate in the long term. And so if I can turn picks now into more picks in 2027, it's basically just about accumulating a mountain of picks to be able to use.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think we saw in the real NFL draft this last year, pick 26, I think it was, get traded from the Rams to the Falcons for like a first the following year, a second, a third, a fifth. And it's like all of that for one first this year in the 20s. Yeah, stuff now is more valuable than stuff later. So interesting. Do you have anyone in that 2027 draft you're specifically like, man, if we get that guy, we're turning this around?
I mean, Jeremiah Smith's the guy. That's
That was just John trying to get you to say something about Ohio State.
yeah. If you just want to turn this into Ohio State pod, we can do that. But I mean, there's just a lot of depth at position. And again, like I said, I'm not cold on 2026. I think there are guys in this draft that as a floor are wide receiver twos, and then have higher ceilings. I just feel like again, right now we're in a place where I just need as many darts as I can throw at a dartboard, and some of them are bound to hit. And I feel like the 2027 draft, it's a little bit more of a target rich environment for me. So again, like if we leave with Jeremiah Smith, that'd be wonderful. If we don't, I don't think that's the end of the world. It is just I need cracks at the bat to try to fix this.
Absolutely.
Jacob, do you have a sort of like schedule you have in your mind as far as like where your team should be by the end of 2026, into 2027, into 20 like where like I guess what would keep you on schedule as far as like where you finish next year in 27?
So I really like I like looking at Dallas's team quite a bit just because he was maybe not the same position that we're in, but similar to, you sell the team to win a championship, and then the years after that, you're kind of paying the price for that. And so that's kind of when he took over with that team. And so right now, like when you look at his team, maybe not, maybe not the best team in the league, but an absolute accumulation of picks with really exciting pieces that are only going to get better. And so by finishing, this 2026 draft, if we have one or two guys that you're like, yeah, that could be a part of the core, but we have picks to continue that. And so then moving into the 2027 draft, it's like, all right, well, now at this point, I do have a little bit more of a luxury to operate short term as opposed to everything needing to be long term. Um, so it's not necessarily a set schedule. It's just I want to come out of 26 with pieces that excite me on the team for their future, but just a barrel of picks that I can continue to kind of rebuild that and reload that.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's tracking with me.
And again, none of this is like mind-blowing strategy or anything. I mean, it's just how you rebuild a dynasty team. Oh, I want good guys on my team and also some picks. Okay, great insight, Jacob, but that's the plan.
Well, I think that our standard for the farm the last few years has just been kind of like whatever happens, happens, and there is no plan. So for this league, we've always felt like there are 8 to 9 owners that are really invested in proactive with setting themselves up for that future. And maybe if even like I'm notorious for not making very many trades at this point, but people feel like there's a plan. He set himself up. It's like he's executing on that plan. Maybe they don't agree with the plan, but they know there's a plan. So it's refreshing to hear that the farm kind of has a plan.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, like and I'm not like a big draft analyzer or anything, but it's like when you look at wide, because I talk about the wide receiver position a lot, because in this league, it's 3 wide receivers and 2 flexes. And so to me, this is a kind of a wide receiver driven league. Yeah. Running backs are great. Top end talent at quarterback is great, but this is a wide receiver driven league. And so for me, it's like wide receiver with running back. And again, this isn't super insightful, but with running back, a lot of it is just opportunity. If there's opportunity and talent, like you have these super talented guys, but the opportunity thing is the most important thing because you see kind of more middle tier running backs, but when they're given a full workload, they're really hyper valuable. With a wide receiver, you're looking at opportunity and talent. And so when looking at drafting these players and looking at players that interest me, they may be more interesting to me than they are to you, like Arrow Manor on our team right now. I don't think he's the best wide receiver in the world. And, I was offered 4th rounders for him, which probably is fair value. But for our team, I feel like if I project Cam Ward to be as good as I think he's going to be or could be, if Calvin Ridley is as washed as I think he is, I feel like those are the kind of guys that I want to take darts at. Not really crowded wide receiver rooms where it's like, all right, I think there's some talent there, but I also think there's a tremendous, you know, opportunity just to be that number 1 target for a quarterback I think can be effective. It's why, and again, I don't want to dog on Matthew Golden forever and ever and ever, but like I think he's a highly talented player. But the whole discourse around Green Bay's receiving core is you don't know who their number 1 is. And so you might look at that and say, well, Matthew Golden's going to come in and be the number 1. But to me, that's a lot of mouths to feed. And that's a dart throw. That's kind of a dangerous dart throw to make to be like, he's going to, overthrow Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Tucker Kraft. Dontavian Wicks has big games. And so it's just a really crowded area. And so those are the kind of players that like may hold more value to other teams, but for us, just because we are just looking for, diamonds here, basically,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find players that I feel like, and maybe not even right now, but have that, situation where it's like, yeah, talent is important, but I'm not overemphasizing talent. Opportunity needs to be there. It needs to be someone that's throwing, they are going to get targets.
Sure. Which makes a lot of sense. And especially to your Adonai Mitchell for Josh Downs trade, just like a guy who's uber talented in an offense with not a lot of targets versus a guy who's pretty talented in an offense with a lot of targets.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm a Colts fan, so nothing makes me happier or going on a Sunday on like Twitter and watching people crap on Adonai Mitchell for having alligator arms. Like that's funny. I'm frustrated by it. Um, but from a fantasy perspective, the talent's there. Garrett Wilson's hurt. If they have a quarterback that can actually throw a football, then I feel like that's good. So I would rather get rid of Josh Downs, who I kind of know who he is. I know he's fantasy relevant, but I just kind of know what he is. For the chance of maybe Adonai Mitchell something, maybe he's not, but there's the chance there. I feel like if you make enough moves like that, you're going to find something eventually.
Jacob, you mentioned these dart throws. You got a few on your roster, but are there any of these guys that are probably at a low point in value, but could have potential, post hype sleepers, young guys with potential? Are there any of these kind of dart throw type players you're looking to acquire that you're interested in?
The problem with that is a lot of these dart throw guys are sitting on teams that also want to have dart throw guys. And so, I mean, like, yeah, there are players out there that I like and would love to be on the farm. I think the easiest way for me to gain access to those players is to draft them as opposed to trading with people. Because again, the people that have those players are the ones that are kind of coming at this from the same perspective that I am.
I will say it's so one thing that sneaks up on people every year, and it has snuck up on Adrian based off that little line that says forfeited draft picks. This is why that is. We have to cut our rosters down to 20. We have to cut down to 20 players.
You have to drop at least 5, but if you have 10 draft picks, you have to drop 10 guys.
Yeah. So what people run into is their rosters are too deep and they have too many guys that they like and they have to drop them. So I would encourage you to kind of look around at other people's rosters and see how, what their roster is going to look like, after they have to cut, and see if you could maybe bring attention to those guys in the team that may not even be able to keep. And maybe you can get like really big discounts on those guys because they're going to be forced to either cut them or sell them for maybe less than they're really worth.
Yeah, and that's good insight. And so I know like the first couple days, Adrian and I had a kind of long phone call just talking about, state of the farm. And one of the points I made is like, dude, there are guys on the waiver wire that we would probably rather have on our team than guys that are currently on the team. And so it is just a little bit of a shift in mindset where it's like, yeah, maybe they will give you 6 points a week. I'd rather a guy that's getting me 0 points a week right now, but has the potential to get me 20 points a week. And so we kind of went through and did some of that. I know I caught some flack for dropping Trey Harris. When I'm talking about opportunity and talent, I am kind of out on Trey Harris. That'll bite me in the butt, but there's a lot of mouths to feed there too. I just don't see a path for him forward. So again, it's finding guys that I see a path forward with.
Sure. I think that may have been more about how Trey Harris was used in single ownership than how he hit the waiver wire. But we're coming to the end of this because our Zoom call only goes so long. But most people wouldn't answer this question, so feel free to avoid it if you want to. Do you have a target if the farm should get the first overall pick in 2026?
Yeah, I think it's obvious in 2026. I mean, if you want me to say it, the Notre Dame running back, Jeremiah Love, I think would be a great addition to the team. But again, he does a play at Notre Dame at the storied franchise, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Yeah, a small little school in Indiana for those who haven't heard of it before. We tend to agree here. Jeremiah Love is kind of the big target. There's a few other guys that should you lose the lottery are worth taking.
Yeah.
But I would tend to agree with that. I think most fantasy analysts right now tend to agree. A top 10 real world NFL draft pick for running back is probably a good first overall fantasy pick.
Yeah.
Is there any team that could draft Jeremiah Love that would cause you to not take him number 1 overall?
That's a great question. I don't.
Raiders, baby.
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
Raiders split backfield Genty and Jeremiah Love.
That would be brutal. That would be absolutely brutal.
They're like, we don't like Genty. We're gonna try again.
Yeah.
Genty was Chip Kelly's guy.
Yeah.
Not our guy.
Okay. Jacob, anything else you want to say to the people?
Yeah, I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to play with you guys. I've heard a ton about the ODL. I feel like anytime Matt, John, and I get together, it's ODL talk, and I just sit there like, I don't know what you're talking about, but am I still allowed to stand here? I'm just really excited to be in. I really like fantasy football. I really I've enjoyed a lot of the discourse that's gone on so far. So I'm just grateful for that. And then there are brighter days ahead for the farm. I'm hopeful for kind of where we're going, and I'm excited to pilot this with the esteemed franchise owner Adrian Matzke.
The sun has not set on this farm yet.
No.
So
Is there a name change coming?
I would love to do a name change. So I've not talked to Adrian about this, but I would love to do a name change. I feel like we're kind of, finishing this chapter and we're moving on to better things with the team. And I think that a name change would be just a great sign of that. I mean, True Farms is a good name. The Office, though, is such a target-rich environment for cool names and things that you can do. So I think maybe it's too fresh for me to come in, trade as tight end, and then be like, and we're changing the name, Adrian. So I'm going to let that kind of marinate for a little bit, but I would love to do a name change.
you could always do Will Ferrell's character, the new manager.
That'd be about
Under
Yes.
management.
Or if we're the inspirational juggling, that's the name of our team or something.
Love it. Love it. Jacob, it's a joy to have you in ODL. There was an 11th guy. I know Mac and I were advocating for you. Glad it's you. Looking forward to maybe not a competitive season from the farm this year, but we'll see you in 2032.
Yeah, I'll see you next decade.
Jacob, thank you.
Thanks, Jacob.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys.